What's up, positive bitches? How are we doing today? If you're hearing this episode, then you are meant to be here, so keep listening. On that Bitches Positive podcast, sometimes we will laugh, other times, baby girl, we're gonna cry, but we will always walk away feeling our most empowered, positive bitch self. That is babe in true connection with herself. On this podcast, we unbecome who we are not, so we can fully step into exactly who we came here to be. Today, we are talking about probably one of my favorite subjects ever, and that's how to not feel inferior, but to get turned off. Because as magnetic women, when someone disrespects us, we don't feel, oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not smart enough. We don't feel inferior because of someone else's low level of projection. We get turned off. We read the writing on the wall and place people accordingly because we are not the rehabilitation center for other people. No, we are not. We came to planet Earth to enjoy this incarnation, to enjoy our own energy, to enjoy learning, developing, and growing as a soul. Now, didn't we? Yes, we did. So many of us are wasting our damn time feeling less than, feeling inferior. We're letting the lower vibrational entities of this world win because we're believing it's lies. As a positive bitch, which is the magnetic woman, we know this, yes we do, we don't let these lower vibrational entities win our mind. We do not drift with the devil. We clearly, consciously, with our free will, choose what we believe, that which is in accordance with our highest good, that which is in accordance with our divine plan, and we live in our truth, knowing that someone else's limitation has nothing to do with us. And instead of trying to convince people to stay in our life, instead of trying to convince people that we are good, instead of trying to convince people of literally anything, we do not seek to prove ourselves worthy. We remember our worth. We do not beg people to love us. What we do is see people for who they are, respond accordingly, and we don't feel inferior. We get turned off. Yes. That is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. How to get out of this lack mindset of I'm not good enough and enter into an abundance mindset of I'm actually turned off and there's someone much better for my soul. Yeah, because do I need to remind you that your soulmate is not the person who's leaving you on red? It's not the person who's disrespecting you. It's not the person who's causing you to have massive anxiety every day of your life. That person who's doing that to you, that's not an invitation for you to prove your worth. It's an invitation to remove them from your reality. Your power does not lie in trying to change or fix other people. It lies in your ability to shift your proximity to that said person. Before we get into it, a couple of announcements. If you have not yet ordered your copy of Show Up As Her, my new book, which is 10 Laws for Reclaiming Your Power, Embodying Magnetic Energy and Positive Manifestation, be sure to get your copy. The link will be in the show notes. If you are not yet following me on Instagram at Vibing with Cece and at That Bitch Is Positive, be sure to follow me on both of those pages so you can stay up to date on this podcast and all things magnetic energy. And if you're looking for more intimate guidance, I am a certified life and energy coach, and I do offer one-on-one sessions via Zoom. You can DM me on Instagram at Vibing with Cece to learn more about how I can help you along your most beautiful journey. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Now, when you're dating, there are going to be many moments where you get to create meaning around your life. We don't live life. We live through the meaning that we give to our life. This is why there's multiple eyewitnesses. We are not perceiving reality as reality. We are perceiving reality through the lens of our own past experiences. Whatever meaning we have practiced giving to our reality is the meaning we are really good at assigning. If you are constantly feeling like you're not good enough, you are not meeting the mark, you are less worthy than your peers, it's because you got really good at creating and assigning that meaning in your reality. Why do you feel inferior? Why do you feel maybe not good enough? I need you to understand that you have essentially been groomed to feel inferior. Strong language, but this is the truth. You have been groomed to feel not good enough. You have been groomed to live in a reality where you never feel like you're giving enough. You have been groomed to be a people pleaser, to be a martyr, to put other people ahead of you, and to suffer. That's the programming you've received. Whether that is what your caregivers consciously tried to impart on you, or whether you deduce that meaning from your reality as a child, it doesn't matter. Either way, that is how you think you must be in order to survive and get love and connection from your reality. But that is just a meaning you created. It is not your truth. It is not your truth. You were born this magnetic, authentic energy. You learned an identity in order to survive and get the attention of your caregivers. If you still constantly feel like you're not good enough, it's because you're living under the guise, the role, the identity of that people-pleasing martyr, of the good girl, the quiet girl who has to put herself last. You learned at an early age that your worth is a result of what you can do for others, that your value is a result of what you can do for others. You learned that you will only be accepted and loved when you live in accordance with others. So if you're wondering why you still, in every relationship, in every job, never feel good enough, it's because you have consumed and became this identity, and therefore you create meaning from this identity. Now here's the beautiful thing. Open up those ears. Open up those eyes. Open up that heart. Open up that chest. How about? Let's open up that heart center, shall we? Yes, we shall. You don't have to live in that past experience any longer. If you stepped into a puddle, I would say, baby girl, take that other foot and get out of that puddle, okay? You don't have to live from that past identity. Just because you learned an identity doesn't mean you have to continuously take it into your present and your future. No, you get through every present moment, you get a new invitation to decide who you wish to be. You get a new invitation to decide to respond according to a new identity. Realistically, you can be the saint, you can be the sinner, you can be kind, you can be rude, you can be high vibe, you can be low vibe. There are an unlimited amount of different energies that exist within your vessel that are available to you at all times. You get to choose, you get to pick and choose who and how you wish to be in every given moment. Your power is in your present moment. You don't have to feel like this anymore, but if you stay in the identity of the good girl, the quiet girl, the people pleaser, well, every identity causes these biochemical reactions in our body. It causes us to create meaning from our past rather than seeing reality for what it truly is. For so long, I would create meaning on autopilot. I would create meaning from the people-pleasing quiet girl. And therefore, if my ex-partners were looking at another woman, I would say to myself, that woman is more beautiful than me. She's better than me. If I saw my partner literally doing, it could be a range of different things, I would think, that girl has this and I don't. They're better than me. They're smarter than me. They're more beautiful than me. I can't give my partner what these other people can give them. That was the meaning I created. Do you know how that made me feel? Like shit. Not great. Pretty bad. Don't recommend it at all. Don't recommend it at all. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun for me. It's probably not fun for you either. I was really good at creating the meaning of I'm not good enough because that is what I practiced my whole entire life. When I was in elementary school and someone else got picked for volleyball first, the first meaning I told myself is, well, that's because I'm not good enough. When I was at a party and someone went up to my friend and not me, the first thought I had, well, that's because I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. When I went out and someone else was getting attention and I wasn't, I would tell myself, well, that's because they're so much more beautiful than I can ever be. I was so quick. I was living on autopilot. I was living through the role of being the good girl, being the quiet girl, that I lived in accordance with these past meanings rather than actually just deciding how I wanted to show up and deciding how I could create meaning in a more empowering way. At the end of the day, you have two options, really. You can create empowering meanings around your reality. This is not my breakdown, it's my breakthrough. It's not the setback, it's a setup. Everything has to be cleared so I can invite in new energy, new people, new opportunity. Or, here's the other option. Pick your adventure. You can decide, nothing ever works out for me. Life sucks. Everyone's better than me. And you can create disempowering meaning. What would be the point of that? I have no idea. If you can figure it out, let me know. Let me know. There is no point in creating a disempowering meaning because number one, you actually don't know how this circumstance is going to unfold. You don't know how all the dots are going to connect. You really don't know much. And neither do I because we're just mere humans in this present moment. You really don't know if this is actually going to work out for you, even though it might not feel great in the moment. So number one, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to yourself in a negative lens. Number two, what does this do? It makes you feel terrible. And for what? For what? I used to take a test and I was in every AP class you can think of in high school. And the tests were difficult. And after a test, I would say to myself, I failed. I did so bad. I didn't know any of the answers. I would throw myself in a loop, telling myself all of these negative meanings, how I did so terrible. And then I would get the test back and turns out I got a 90. There is no point in telling yourself how terrible the interview went, how terrible the date went, how terrible the test went, when you actually don't know. Let the dust settle. Take a deep breath. Stop fighting everything and invite yourself to flow. Invite yourself to actually live life instead of trying to constantly give meaning to every moment of your life. If you're not sure how something is going to affect you, instead of giving it a disempowering meaning, what if you just chilled out and said, you know what? I don't know how this is going to unfold, but I'm going to hope for the best anyway. I, for the longest time, would give the worst meaning to my ex-partners, to circumstance, and I would tell myself, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and this is why this is happening. And it would lead me to feel so insecure about myself, about my body, about my relationship, about my overall reality. And then I realized I was lying to myself. I started practicing something different because anything we practice, we get good at. I started practicing cultivating confidence. I started practicing assigning new meaning. I started practicing creating myself in the present moment rather than repeatedly going back to an identity I literally didn't even want to be in anymore. I started doing the work, the energy work, the physical work, the mind work. And I started to feed myself with energy instead of depleting myself with negative, disempowering meaning. So if you're currently telling yourself all the time, I'm not good enough, if you constantly feel inferior, what that tells me is, okay, we got to work a little bit, not only on your mindset, but on your confidence. Now, this brings me to page 135 in my book. Again, if you've not gotten your copy of Show Up As Her just yet, be sure to get your copy so you can follow along with us. This is an amazing way to build confidence. Find a strain that serves you. A strain is something that is somewhat difficult for you to do, but possible. Cardio is a strain for me, and that's why I lovingly encourage myself to do it weekly. I used to think I couldn't run that far, but after deciding to do it anyway, I proved to myself how powerful I am. Engaging in this activity weekly has made me more confident in other things as well. Now, when someone says I cannot do something or there's something I've never done before, I know if I can run 3 miles, I can do this too. Realizing how powerful I was also allowed me to place less importance on my looks. It made me understand that if my clear skin is the best thing about me, maybe I need to get some damn hobbies. I wanted my skin to be clear, but it's also the least interesting thing about me. I am more than my skin. I am more than my looks. I am a goddess and I should feel like one too. To find a strain that serves you, find something that is difficult but doable and start implementing it into your weekly schedule. This will build on your self-confidence, which will help you build self-love. Some example of strains that can serve you include, but are not limited to, reading, writing, meditating, learning a new skill, working out, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. Right now, you might feel insecure. You might feel like you're not good enough. So that means, okay, we have to build up our confidence muscle. How do you build up your confidence muscle? Find something that is difficult but doable and start doing it weekly. Do you know how proud of myself I am after I do some cardio, after I do the Peloton? I'm like, damn, I didn't feel like doing it. It was difficult, but I feel so good about myself that when in doubt, I did it anyway. And I proved to myself that I am capable of doing hard things. I am capable of putting myself first. I am capable of spending some time and energy on myself. I am capable of really building myself up to be the person that I want to be. You are your greatest artistic creation during this incarnation. It's you. This life is about you building you. When you find a strain that serves you and you're doing it weekly, daily maybe, you are showing yourself, regardless of how other people see me, I see my own power. Regardless of how other people treat me, I'm going to treat myself well. I'm going to carve out time of my busy schedule and I'm going to give to myself. You have to start building up your confidence muscles. As you are cultivating yourself, your mind, body, and spirit, you're creating not disempowering meanings, but empowering meanings. You're working on claiming your present moment, not being on autopilot. You're working with a strain that serves you. There's going to be this little baby voice that starts to happen from within. And this little voice is going to grow more powerful and powerful and powerful. And what this voice is going to say to you is, listen, bitch, what are you doing? You are treating yourself with the utmost respect, love. You're giving yourself time. Why are you going to waste your time with some rusty dusty over there who doesn't have the capacity to fulfill you or hold your energy? And this voice might be a little twinkle, twinkle at first, but eventually over time, I can assure you, this voice will get louder and louder and louder until it's screaming in your face saying, get away from this little specimen who can't give you what you want, who cannot give you what you need, and ultimately is going to just waste your time. Get away from them. But in order for that intuitive spiritual download to hit, you have to start working with that strain that serves you. You have to start cultivating your confidence. Now, I understand and you understand why certain people are the way they are, but that doesn't mean that we are their rehabilitation center. It doesn't mean we have to fix them. It doesn't mean that we have to do all of these different things. No. Everyone is responsible for their own energy. In the same way that you're responsible for your fun and your happiness, so is that other person. Now, this is how I see it. I don't take things personal. I take them vibrational. If you cannot meet me where I'm at, baby, it's all right. It's okay. But I am going to read the writing on the wall, and I'm not going to try to change you, but I will change my proximity to you, and I will place you accordingly right outside of my life. The way I see it is Jesus. Jesus died for me. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, you can't text me back? You can't call me? You can't set up the date? I already had a man die for me. If you can't come anywhere close to that, then I am really just not that interested. I'm sorry. You're boring. I'm not into it. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I always tell you, see Jesus as your husband. See God as your husband. Because this will help you raise your standard. I want the gold standard. I know what energy I broadcast. I know what I bring into this world. If you're not bringing anything and in fact you're just depleting me, I gotta go. I gotta go. When someone is to disrespect me or just not rise to the level I'm at, I don't take it personal. I don't get mad at them. I don't chase them. I don't take it as an invitation to prove my worth. I see it as a turn off. That's it. That's it. I think it's important to say when you're dating and maybe they don't text you back or maybe they didn't call you that morning, please give people leeway to be a real human being. Don't take everything as an insult or everything personal. People do live lives, and they're not always going to be 100% perfect. If you're looking for perfect, don't look for a partner, okay? Because people are people. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But let's say now there's a pattern of them not calling you or a pattern of them reaching out. That's when we want to read the writing on the wall and act accordingly. And what does that mean? It means changing our proximity to them, not trying to change them. We've talked about this before, but I feel like I can't do this episode without bringing up the capable cat principle. Page 165 in the book. The capable cat principle will help you understand your own motivation for chasing. Have you ever asked a cat to bark? Probably not, because they are not capable of it. If I told you I asked a cat to bark, but it wouldn't bark, you would tell me the cat didn't bark because it's not capable of barking. If I then told you I needed this cat to bark for me to feel worthy, validated, and loved, you would ask me, why do you need that cat to bark for you to feel worthy, validated, and loved? You would tell me the cat's capabilities have nothing to do with your worth. Why are you placing your happiness in this cat's hands? Now let me ask you, have you ever repeatedly asked, even begged someone for better communication, for them to stop cheating on you or respect you? Chances are, probably. See where I'm going with this? If you had repeatedly made your needs clear and they have not listened or been able to meet those needs, it's not because you're unworthy, it is because they are not capable. The capable cat principle states, if a cat was capable of barking, it would. If they were capable of giving you what you want and need, they would. This has nothing to do with your value as a human, but with their own inability. Spiraling about why they cannot show up for you leads you into your wounded masculine and right off the cliff of your pedestal. We must stop telling ourselves that we are worthless and unlovable because other people aren't capable of meeting our needs. Embodying our divine feminine means that we know we are inherently worthy, regardless of others' ability to see our value. Instead of asking ourselves why we aren't good enough, we must flip the script. Your new practice is going to be interrupting the thought of I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not worthy. And you're instead going to say, actually, no, that's a turn off. That's low vibrational behavior. I'm not into that. And oftentimes it's not that you're not good enough. It's actually they're not enough for you. You're the one asking for more communication, better consistency. You're the one asking for more quality time, for better treatment. It's not you that's not good enough for them. It's them that's not enough for you. Do you see how we get that so confused in our own neurological pathways and in our brain? Do you see what I'm saying? You have to consistently and repeatedly, because how do we get good at anything? We have to practice it through consistency and repeating the action. Every time you want to tell yourself and you want to go back into autopilot and say, I'm not good enough, you have to say, no, 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 no. That's not the story I'm telling myself anymore. What's closer to the truth is that that's actually a turn off. That's actually not the type of person I want to be in this world with. I always think about when you have kids, you're building a household, you're building a life with your life partner. I mean, do you really want to be worried about them following all these random girls on Instagram? Do you really want to be worried about them having low levels of consistency and communication? I personally don't. It sounds like a huge headache. If you're not pursuing me, that's enough information for me. I'm turned off immediately because I know myself. I built myself up. I know who I am. If you're not pursuing me, I think, well, that sucks for you. If they're not courting you and you have confusion, that's all the data you need to know to place them accordingly outside of your life. It's not that hard. It's actually really, really simple. It doesn't always feel great, and we like people sometimes and we get let down by them and we thought it could work and it doesn't. Hey, that's the name of the game. That's what we signed up for. We signed up for a journey. It's not linear. It's crazy out here, but this is what we signed up for. This is what we came here to do. All the experiences that you're having are invitations to energetically upgrade. What are you learning? What are you perceiving? How are you becoming better? Anytime I go through an experience that is tough, I like to reflect on it and say, okay, what are the empowering meanings? What did I learn? How did I get better? And that will help you graduate into the next season. That will help you move into your next loving relationship. It's true, if it's not them, that it's someone better. And if they are truly yours, they will come back around. And if they don't, be oh so thankful that you are going to be gifted a better vibrational match. Consistently, repeatedly, remind yourself of who it is that you actually want as a partner. And when the person in front of you is not fulfilling that role, see them for who they are. I know it's so easy for us to fill in the blanks of other people with our own fantasies. No. See people for exactly who they are. Sometimes it's scary to walk in the light of the truth, but why would we lie to ourselves and get sucky results when we can see people for who they really are and either accept them or remove them? And if we are removing them, then we are gifted someone better. What's so bad about that? If you're too zoomed into your situation, you're too obsessive over the person that's in front of you, even though you're like, they're really not good for me, zoom out a little bit. Think about in 5 years, if you were to marry this person, think about the headache you might have with them. Think about them in the delivery room while you're pushing and screaming. What are they, watching the Mets? Like, that's not the vibe. You know what I'm saying? It is a turn off. And if you're trying to unattach from someone, get out a pen and paper and literally write down all the things that turn you off about them and read that list every single day so you can allow yourself to move forward and move on. Remember, their actions, their capabilities is not reflective of your true worth. It might be reflective of what you think you deserve, but that's your own limiting belief. It's not reflective of your authentic worthiness. And if they're reflecting low level of consistency, of respect, that means you have to do some inner work, find a strain that serves you, and work on your confidence so you know, no, I deserve more. I am worthy of more. I'm going to get more. This is really not about these other people. It's about you training yourself to see negative behavior as a turn off. It's about you training yourself to cultivate more confidence. And it's about you understanding that you didn't come here to just be disrespected. Like, imagine that. Imagine you came all the way down to planet Earth, incarnated in a body, are going through all these trials and tribulations, and you did all of it just to be disrespected. You know that doesn't make any sense. You know that. And when someone's treating you negatively and it feels bad, that is your emotional guidance system telling you their actions are not in alignment with you. Your emotions are not monsters. They are messengers. And they're constantly trying to communicate with you about your external experience. Your emotion is your navigation system telling you where to go and what to avoid. When your emotions are consistently telling you this person makes you feel terrible, you have to listen listen to that internal cue and say, you know what? My emotions are making me feel like this person is not in alignment with me anymore. Maybe I have to see what life is like without them. Maybe I might have some doubt, but I'm going to do it anyway because I have a little suspicion that there's more out there for me, that I could be treated better in a relationship, in a, God forbid, a situationship. Don't even get me started on situationships. I've done podcasts about that. You know how I feel. They're an absolute no-no. I want to leave you with this. Every day, you have the option of how you want to create meaning around your existence. You can create meaning that you're not good enough, or you can tell yourself, actually, I don't want a partner who's checking out other girls. That's gross. I don't want a partner that is liking all these pictures of half-naked girls. That's yucky to me. I don't want a partner that can't communicate. All of these things are a turn off. And maybe you need to hear this because this is just coming through me right now. There are people out there that in the same way you're praying for them, they are praying to meet someone exactly like you. There are people out there who are waiting, who are thinking of manifesting someone exactly like you. In the same way that you want your dream partner wants you. And you're delaying your progress towards this dream partner by keeping around people who are in a lower vibration. You're stagnating your growth. You're blocking your blessings. Every day in the present moment, you have the option. Do I want to accept this or do I want to receive more? Do I want to feel bad or do I want to feel good? Do I want to react from autopilot and create a disempowering meaning, or do I want to create empowering meaning that's actually in alignment with my true authentic soul? What do I want to do? Because it is up to me. You are already inherently worthy. What do you want to believe about yourself? You don't have to earn someone else's love. Your divine feminine energy is the prize in itself. It is what hydrates this planet and the people of this planet. Your light, your authentic energy, your existence is so magnetic, so powerful. But if you keep around people who deny that beauty in you, it will be so hard for you to see it in yourself. So it's time to place others accordingly and take those beautiful eyes and refocus on yourself, cultivate the confidence, cultivate empowering meaning, and interrupt any story you're telling yourself about not being good enough and reminding yourself that actually this is not my soulmate. This is a turn off. This is not what I want in another person. I don't do this to other people. 222 on my clock, and I'm not going to accept it from others either. I love you so much. If you've not yet ordered Show Up As Her, be sure to get that in the show notes. Follow me on Instagram at VibingWithCC. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If not for me, do it for you because good karma. And I will see you in the next one. Mwah.